D&D tries to take a big bite out of the popularity of Monster Hunter Wilds in their newest D&D Beyond collab. Monster Hunter Wilds has smashed Capcom sales records, with the action role-playing game having sold over 8 million units in the first 2 weeks alone. But before we dive into how D&D Beyond is trying to latch on to that huge success, why not take a second and hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us keep this channel growing? And then, let's look at D&D's latest collab. Monster Hunter Wilds is putting up numbers that rival or surpass the massive success of Baldur's Gate 3, with over 600,000 players every day on Steam alone logging in to slaughter crazy fantasy dinosaurs and turn them into incredibly over-the-top weapons nearly a month after launch. And now D&D Beyond is trying to siphon off some of that popularity as they've teamed up with Hitpoint Press and Loot Tavern to bring Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting Part 1 to D&D Beyond this week. The new sourcebook makes no secret of its Monster Hunter inspirations, from the incredibly similar artwork to the entire concept of killing monsters to use their parts for crafting elaborate weapons and armor, and all the way down to having cat people handle some of your cooking and crafting needs. Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting Part 1 is probably as close as you can get to flat out bringing the world of Monster Hunter into D&D without getting sued by Capcom for IP infringement, and even there it walks a very fine line. So what exactly does this new book bring to D&D Beyond? And could it be a great new addition for even those non-Monster Hunter fans out there? Well, first off, it brings 4 incredibly new and interesting subclasses to D&D, from bards who use their magic to reshape the flesh of others, to biomancy wizards who use the arcane arts to grant themselves monstrous new forms with scales and claws and extra limbs, or even paladins that specialize more in healing to help their allies survive these brutal new monster encounters. But our favorite has to be the Circle of the Hive Druid, who bonds with insects to turn their own body into a living insect colony of sorts, and gains access to swarm-based new wild shapes and more. It's basically a druid who has turned themselves into an insect glaive from Monster Hunter, and we are here for it. You also gain access to 5 new species and 3 subspecies with serious Monster Hunter inspirations, from the Cyclopeans with their singular eye and compulsive thirst for secrets and for knowledge, to the small feathered Goboks who possess an incredible knack for avoiding danger and speaking with birds. You also gain access to 13 new feats and nearly 30 new spells that add a ton of Monster Hunter flavor to D&D. You can gain feats to grant you access to exotic new weapons and fighting styles, or new ways to extract resources or craft gear out of monster corpses, to spells that bestow monstrous new abilities on you and your party, like the ability to blend into your surroundings like a chameleon. But the big thing that is going to get the Monster Hunter fans really excited out there has to be the new crafting and cooking rules. Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting now adds an entire new step to combat, a race against time after the battle ends to harvest the most materials you can before time runs out and their potency fades, forcing harvesting party members to make some tough choices about what they want from every slain monster in that limited window of time they have. It also offers a very comprehensive and familiar method for Monster Hunter fans of creating new rare and magical weapons from monster corpses, where you can combine a longsword with something like the breast sack of a dragon to help create a flame-tongue longsword, or turning a dragon turtle shell into a magical shield or piece of armor. It's incredibly reminiscent of Monster Hunting's in-game crafting system, and honestly it makes far more sense than the current long and laborious process of crafting magical items and weapons in the standard D&D 2024 rules. And even more importantly, there is a massive new cooking system that lets you turn edible monster parts into amazing magical meals that give you and your party 8-hour long lasting buffs, depending on which types of creatures you use to make your food, with each component contributing some kind of unique magical effect based on the creature it came from, leading to some wonderfully weird and complicated recipes to buff your party before the next battle. While you don't get a fun cutscene with cat people making massive dino ribs or delicious cheese boards for you, you actually do have to make some of the rolls and checks to see if you nail the cooking or not. But it will bring you all the same vibes as sitting down for a huge meal in Monster Hunter Wilds, and it adds an incredibly fun new mechanic to D&D that all parties can truly benefit from. So in short, if you are a Monster Hunter fan that plays D&D or just has a casual interest in trying D&D out, this is effectively a must-buy. And if you are a D&D fan already who may or may not have any knowledge of Monster Hunter, this is still definitely worth a look and probably a purchase based on how much it adds to some of the seriously lacking areas of D&D 24, like better crafting, more feats, better variety of spells and species, and so on. So if any of that sounds good to you, you can grab your copy of Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting Part 1 on D&D Beyond today for $30, and start enjoying your Monster Hunter inspired but legally distinct monster slaying adventures right now. So what do you think? Are you willing to give Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting a try? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.